Does the NHS have lessons to learn from the Letby murders? Now, nurse Lucy Letby has been found guilty of murdering 7 babies and attempting to kill 6 more, making her the worst child serial killer in modern history. The neonatal nurse started attacking highly vulnerable babies in her care in 2015. The police were contacted in 2017 and she was arrested in 2018. Now, consultants warned Countess of Chester hospital bosses repeatedly about Letby's links to the unusual deaths and collapses of babies on the neonatal ward. But doctors who raised concerns were actually ordered to apologise to the killer nurse. Now, Conservative MP Dr Caroline Johnson says it's completely unacceptable, and I would personally use stronger language, but we are on TV, that management did not immediately act on the suspicions of the expert healthcare professionals. 3 babies died after the doctors warned the NHS Trust that they had suspicions about Lucy. That's 3 babies that should be here now, basically. So for the Great British Debate, I'm asking, does the NHS have lessons to learn from the Lucy Letby murders? Now, joining me now is NHS paediatric nurse Olivia Princewell, criminal defence lawyer and broadcaster Joseph Cotry-Monson, and retired officer and director of the Law Order Enforcement Norman Brennan. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm actually going to start with you, Olivia, if I may. You are a paediatric nurse. I just want to ask, what effect has this story had on you personally and your profession?
Thank you so much. So I have been following the case of Lucy since the beginning, and it has been something that has really traumatized me and really left me with a lot of question, as well as a lot of my colleagues with which I've been discussing this case with. And personally, to just hear how the management dismissed the staff just makes me kind of doubt how safe and secure I am in my own workspace and work environment. The fact that they actually raised a concern, the fact that, I as a staff could raise my concern and I could be dismissed, actually leaves me wondering if really I am valued in my place of work, or if my opinions even count, because I can't even imagine the staff having to come to work knowing very well that they don't feel comfortable with another colleague, or they might have doubts, and then them being dismissed in this way. I just think it's really appalling and it's unacceptable. And I do think it's really a shame that, this baby had to die and their family had to go through such trauma. I really do think there's so much to learn from the case of Lucy. Honestly, it's really shocking for the nurses and all of us that have had to witness and listen to what has gone down with the Lucy trial.
Joseph, coming to you next. I mean, you are a legal expert, so the poor families involved in this case will be asking questions probably for the rest of their lives now. What could they do about the fact that the NHS Trust involved in this case didn't appear to act, even though 4 senior registrars and consultants warned them of their suspicions?
Well, I'm glad that we're starting with that particular odious aspect of this, because there was chance after chance after chance to stop the murders by the Trust, the hospital manager, and the chief nurse, head of nursing, Alison Kelly. Ian Harvey, the medical director, was another crucial. The crucial barrier to common sense in this, again and again rejecting what doctors were begging for, expert paediatricians. What can the parents do in the face of circumstances where senior expert consultants, top of their game with knowledge of these matters, were refused again and again, and basically by NHS managers, business people, countermanded? Well, there's going to be some type of inquiry, we hear, but it won't be a statutory inquiry, which will have the power to request information, to demand information, the power to compel witnesses to attend, and of course, the power to get probity into this as to the culture within managers going and their answerability to ministers, which is where this culture of fear starts. Instead, we're we're looking at a kind of mediation, a fairly toothless situation in which the families are going to be expected to just regard this as simply the matter of admittedly a serial killer and a rogue hospital situation. We're hearing from experts that this type of ignoring of medical experts with regard who have charge of the care of their patients with regard to matters of care of patients are regularly being overridden by NHS target-driven managers who don't represent the true spirit in those particular circumstances because of what we have systemically in those structures. Those people don't represent the true interests of patients, and doctors are not being listened to.
Joseph, thank you. Norman, let's bring you into this one. I was shocked by some of the rhetoric that the judge and the chief police officers used in this case, saying that Letby was indeed a monster. I don't remember really often hearing police officers use that language about a case, so obviously it is incredibly shocking for everyone involved. What do you make of the behaviour that is involved in this case and the fact that, well, I mean, the papers are saying today that the NHS has blood on its hands. What would you say to that?
Well, it's two words, to be quite honest here, that we kick off with, and it's image and reputation. The image and reputation was paramount to the chief executive of Chester Hospital. They didn't want anything to undermine their sort of position within the NHS. They didn't want anything negative getting out. And as a result of that, it would be fair to say that it appears that they do, or some people have blood on their hands. What amazes me is this, Dawn, is that there is a number and an organisation called Crime Stoppers. And if you believe that someone is allegedly have committed an offence or is responsible for horrendous crime, and you believe that your managers or line managers or the people in charge of your organisation are not taking it serious, you then make that phone call. It's anonymous, you're anonymous, but what it does, it flags up to the police that somewhere there is an issue and the police will have to look into it. But it's all about image and reputation. Well, let's look at the image and reputation of all of those men and women that were responsible for leadership within Chester Hospital that turned a blind eye. They even had the doctors and some of the staff apologising to her. I've got to say to you, let's look at the image and reputation of those responsible and Chester Hospital today.
Yeah, thank you very much. Strong words indeed. Norman has said blood on their hands. Right, as Olivia Princewell, Joseph Cotry Monson and Norman Brennan, thank you so much for joining me to discuss this.